What's up, everybody? Welcome to Speak for Yourself.
Next!
A safe space for millennial sports fans like myself. Here, we give our most fierce responses to Jason Marcellus' takes. I'm your favorite social media manager, Darnell Smith. Y'all know who I'm with. I don't want to say their name, but I'm going to say it anyway. We got the HBCU legend, your favorite co-host, Shay Live, Miss Shayna Calandro. What's going on?
What's up? How you doing?
Hey, man, today is Wednesday, right?
Today's Wednesday.
Get
the day right today.
I guess yesterday.
We're on a better pace already.
Yeah, we are. Nina Davis, two-time Baylor All-American. How you feeling?
It's hump day.
Come on, hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of energy today. I love it. We're going to get straight to it. So, yesterday, for my question of the day, I asked the guys how they felt about LSU's head coach Ed Orgeron's post-game comments after beating Alabama, and these guys went in, man. First of all, Marcellus got real deep on the topic. Man, let's take a listen.
Being a college coach, professor, anyone in that ranks, it's to teach those who are in transition to adulthood. Let's just be real about this, okay? And even as a college football coach, you're going to use the instrument of football to teach these people how to grow and mature. What you don't do is tell them that we're going to build ourselves up in imagination to stand on the shoulders of Alabama. Instead of empowering them inside themselves and say, let's just see how high we can jump, who we are as a collective. Now, this is my biggest problem with it. The fact that now you have defined your success based on what they are. Who in the hell are they? You know there's some dudes in there who wasn't cheering because they're like, hey, bro, I'm a 5-star my damn self. You over there looking like Alabama like that's the king of the mountain. There was a time when Alabama wasn't the king of the mountain. So what were we going to use for goals then, coach? This is not something that can be everlasting as a mindset. It's crippling, and it's telling you to define yourself by somebody else's success. I ain't like it, and I don't want my son to hear about somebody else who's fresh. Be the next Reggie Bush. How about I be me first?
Yeah, man, oh man. Marcellus, man, he went deep on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he went deep.
I'm going to start with you, Shay. What you thinking about what Marcellus just said? I mean, he went on a whole nother level I wasn't thinking about.
Right. So I'm going to have to disagree with him, first and foremost. But I have good reason. Now, he said you shouldn't compare yourself to someone else, right? Which is totally true. You're going to stunt your growth, all that good stuff. But we're talking about a team. Your team's identity is built off of wins and losses. That's just point blank, period.
Facts.
So if you've been losing and this team's been beating you for not just 8 straight games,
Right.
but since 1895, this rivalry has been going. Alabama's won 53 of those, and LSU's only won 26. So Alabama's doubling the wins opposed to LSU. So that is somebody that they want to be. I feel like them being that crazy, that excited in the locker room is only right. Like, I wouldn't expect it any other way. And Marcellus has got to get out of his head about just this being about you. This is about the team and the history behind the team and the future of the bright future that they have going forward now that they have a win under their belt after eight games.
Facts.
I mean, I'm going to try to take up for Marcellus a little bit, just a little. Just a little bit.
All
So
right.
I know where he was coming from. Mm-hmm. Like, for sure, you don't want to pattern yourself after someone else, more so to say. You don't want to, be like, measure your success off of someone else's success, which I kind of get that. You want to build your own path. But on the flip side, isn't that the world that we live in today? Everyone is compared off of someone else. In this case, Alabama is a dominant powerhouse. LSU has not been able to beat them as many times.
Right.
So in order to have a successful season, don't you have to measure your success off if you beat Alabama? So, of course, you would hype that game up. Of course, we're in the locker room. We're talking about this before the season even started.
Right.
Going to Baylor, well, we were kind of the powerhouse. So,
Yeah.
but, we still, okay, but I'll admit, we still had the rivalry games. You have the UConns and Notre Dames, and when them games come up, like, you hype, you talking about it, you trying to beat these people, like,
Right.
What do you mean? Like, I understand that Marcellus, you wanted to be like Marcellus growing up, but everybody else, I know you heard that I want to be like Mike. You have to pattern yourself off of someone else's success. But Marcellus, I give you a lot of credit that you wanted to be like yourself growing up as a kid.
Man, listen. Again, I disagree with Marcellus as well. Listen, what he's saying, his message, I think, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, his message, I believe, is good for the rest of the world, right? I don't think it's good for sports. In sports, yeah, you got to compare yourself to the best. How do you measure yourself? You can't measure yourself to just anything else. Like, you're going to look at the best team that you got on the schedule, and you're going to circle them. When I played at Ball State, the best team we had, during our good years at least, was Northern Illinois. And every year you found them on that schedule, you circled it, and when that game came, you had just a little bit more juice for that game than you did any other opponent. That's just facts. And unfortunately, we couldn't get past them. But if we did, it would have been a party in the locker room.
It would have been just like the video.
Exactly. We would have been turned up the entire time. And Marcellus, stop capping. He know good and well during his life when they played against number one teams in the NFL, they played the Patriots.
Wait. Did they? Oh, okay, we said the Patriots. Talking about the NFL. I thought we was gonna go to college.
Yeah.
I was about to say, did
I
he play?
I don't know who. Harvard and
right, Princeton.
When y'all played Princeton, big dog, you know you was turned up. So my thing is, listen, it's okay to measure yourself with the greats and use them as a source of motivation. Now they've beat them, they can use something else as motivation. You know what I mean?
Right, their own win, because what they've been using is their losses. You don't have to define yourself off of other people's successes, but you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, they beat us the last 8 times. I'm about to go turn up.
Exactly. Facts are facts. Like you said, big dog, facts over feelings. And the fact is, Alabama has dominated them the last 8 years. So
and
when
if
they
that
win,
doesn't bother you, are you really an athlete? Like,
that's facts on
it should bother you losing that many times. That is awful.
And the crazy thing about this, the only problem I even had with the whole entire situation was whoever the player was who actually recorded it, right? Certain things in the locker room, well, put it like this, anything in the locker room to me has to be private. I don't have no problem with Coach O comments at all. Like you said, we all just discussed. He's hyped, he's excited. But the player, come on, man. You can't be in there recording the comments. Like, what?
You know what's crazy? I think my sophomore year of college, it got to the point where we couldn't have phones inside the gym anymore. Mm-hmm. So on game day, we would have to bring our phones in and turn them into our trainer before we even went in the locker room. And not because of stuff that our coach would say or anything like that. It was just the principle of it. And it got to the point where, hey, if somebody was sending me a good luck, babe text or something like that, you had to send that text about 5 hours before the game because I didn't have my phone anymore. And it made us closer. You communicated. These kids these days.
Like you old, Nina.
These kids these days, if it's not on social media, did it really happen?
Right, facts.
Kids these days. When did you graduate again, Nina?
Okay, it was only like 2 years ago.
You the baby at the table.
I'm going to give the kid the benefit of the doubt. More so because if they are allowed their phones, and social media is so prevalent. They just won. Everybody's turning up. Maybe he should have turned the sound off before he posted the video or whatever. But the thing about it is, they knew they had their phones, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't
they trusted him though.
But maybe he filmed the celebration.
He was on live though.
Yeah.
Not the speech, but right after the speech. Then
the end story.
I'm not saying,
end story.
I'm not saying that he should have or shouldn't have. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't anything like. You know, he was just excited. He's a young kid. They just beat Alabama.
Never
he went on
happened
live.
before.
He probably from some small town, and he knew everybody was about to be looking at his live. He wasn't thinking about what the coach was necessarily saying that wasn't okay for everybody else to hear.
Just caught in the moment.
Was just caught in the moment, thinking like, I'm about to be lit on Instagram. But a lesson learned, you got to just turn the sound off.
These kids.
You know the whole team had to run that Monday because of him. Lesson learned. Don't be.
He was in the coach's office early that Monday morning.
But all right, listen, we got same discussion here, but a different angle right here. My man Whitlock, you know he always got a different angle, always taking his little shots here and there, and it did not stop yesterday with this shot at Marcellus and Columbia. Man, check this out.
I'm actually elevating you, not trying to diminish. You got a Columbia mindset, Marcellus. You're an intellectual.
Yes, I am.
He's dealing with football players.
What you mean? We ended up. Hold on. You said I lied to you. What that on my mama's good? You see? And I'm so damn football. Don't you ever. Since I went to class too, don't think that I took my football off. They trying to get where I went, where I've already been. And y'all should feel really bad.
Look, if you're in a room speaking to a bunch of accountants, yeah, you stay high class.
A bunch of accounts. Last time I checked, I wasn't know what
Wall Street executives. He's talking to football players.
So you said he's dumbing it down, man? So he's dumbing it down.
No, he's keeping it real for his team.
Ooh-wee. Hey, let me go first on this. Look, but first of all, every time we're about to take a shot at somebody, he always prefaces it with a compliment. He's talking about, listen, I'm actually elevating you here, Marcellus, but you went to Columbia and he's a Power 5 school. Like, man, First of all, it was a shot for sure, but he just having fun. But I kind of agree with Whitlock. Like, when you go to these Ivy League schools, your focus ain't really football. You know what I mean? And that's not guys at Baylor, guys at LSU, guys at Baylor, Ball State, LSU, these big time schools. Yeah. They focus on their sport. Yeah, school is cool, whatever. And it's important, but that's not their main focus. So I dang it feel like Whitlock was calling Columbia athletes soft. I'm gonna leave it right there. I don't know. What y'all think?
He was definitely taking a shot. Definitely saying, y'all worried about school and not worried about championships 100%. I think that's definitely what he's saying. Kind of like when he compares LeBron. Like, LeBron's thinking about too many things out here in L.A.,
Perfect.
He's not worried about basketball anymore. Like, that's what he's saying about Marcellus and these Ivy League schools. But I will say on my own behalf that they might not even be worried about school, too, because Howard just beat Harvard in a debate for the second year in a row. I'm just telling you. So, it's Ivy League against HBCU. But anyways, Marcellus is just thinking about this one way. He wasn't trying to understand that, when you're on a football team, it's a Power 5 school. That's the main thing. Everybody on campus is thinking about that championship other than, you still go to class, but everybody's thinking about that.
Exactly.
I agree. He was definitely throwing shots. Basically, it's levels to this, is what he's trying to say. It's different levels. It's levels to the game. And going to a powerhouse school like Baylor, don't get me wrong. I went to class. I'm not going to say we. I'm not going to speak on behalf of everyone. Let me change that and say I. But you have to understand that it is a different mindset. Right. And don't get me wrong, Marcellus, you are educated. You play football, and that is great. However, you can't go to Princeton and tell me about a practice or your schedule at Princeton or how hard your practice was, and then I go to Baylor. You're not on the same level. I'm sorry. I love the school. I love Howard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing shots. Like, you guys are incredible. I'm not saying y'all are not good athletes. I've seen Yale beat Baylor in the NCAA tournament. It happens. But
it's rare.
It's so rare. It's just different type of levels, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But one can argue that, like, I'm just saying on Marcellus's behalf. Now I got to hold him down because
hold him down.
He's going to Ivy League classes and also holding up the same type of football schedule. But you know what I'm saying?
But as far as the football schedule, they're practicing, but are they playing the same type of competition? They're not playing Alabama.
But they're still playing as hard. That man went to the NFL for 10, 11 years.
He did, and you have players like that, but he still didn't play top colleges. But don't get me wrong, you should definitely pattern yourself. If I went to Ivy League, I would want to be like Marcellus. But I didn't.
The overall point here, Marcellus, you went to Columbia for the education. You didn't go there for football. That was a part of it. These guys at LSU, they there for football and education is kind of just the back part of it.
That's what I have to do.
Exactly.
To stay eligible.
Exactly. That's facts right there, man. But listen, that's all we got today. Be sure to check out Speak for Yourself on FS1 Monday through Friday to support Marcellus and Whitlock, because they're the reason we got next. And be sure to subscribe and follow us on YouTube to catch all new episodes. I'm about to go put my head in the books right now just so I can go to Harvard in my next life.
And I'm going to go to the basketball court, so.
Peace out, y'all.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak for Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.